Welcome to another episode of Quanta Talks. My name is Faye and I'm the marketing exec of Quanta part of QCF Staffing. In this episode, I speak to one of our managing consultants, Annabel Nangle. Annabel relocated from the UK to the USA earlier this year, where she supported our USA country manager, Adam Shormerton, to set up our office in the RTP in North Carolina. Annabel is no stranger to staffing for large CAPEX projects, and she's built lasting partnerships with life sciences clients across the globe, including the USA. It was a pleasure to catch up with Annabel after her relocation, and she shared knowledge and experience in staffing for CAPEX projects and the differences between the US and the UK, the best practices, common mistakes, and the benefits to building long-term relationships. If you just give us a brief overview of your role and how you support life sciences organisations across the US.
So my role over here is, the focus is to create and then develop and maintain the relationships that I've built with clients in North Carolina and then other East Coast locations.
And so you were relocated from our UK office to the RTP office back in March?
February.
Oh my
God.
I
know, yeah.
That's flown by. And
I know.
What motivated you to relocate from the UK to North Carolina and support the life science projects out there?
Yeah, so I'd say it was the opportunity that's here, both in North Carolina and just the US alone. It's honestly hard not to be excited by it. I kind of got a taste of it being back in the UK, and then being here now, it's phenomenal. I'm very passionate about working with companies that are, focused on making a significant impact to people's lives. By developing life-saving cures and treatments for life-threatening diseases. So it's incredible to be here and support those companies.
And it's better for you to be there now, like on the same time zone and close by, so you can just get on the plane and
it makes such a difference. We've been able to go and visit the clients, see both my clients and contractors face to face. Mark and Adam were in Michigan this week. I'm going to Texas next week. So it's just so much easier to be able to do that, and also helps being on the same time zone to majority of them, obviously. And then West Coast, it's only 3 hours difference.
So what are some of the key differences between the life sciences staffing landscape and the UK? So between where you are now and when you were in the UK?
So I'd say a big one that stands out would just be the sheer scale of the industry in the US. Being a larger country, it offers a lot broader scope of opportunities compared to the UK. So it's got a larger network of pharma and biotech companies, and that environment provides a hotbed for collaboration and innovation, which attracts professionals from multitude of different backgrounds that can then contribute to these projects. There's a larger, if we're comparing it specifically to the UK market, there's obviously a larger presence of research universities, medical centres, industry hubs in the US, and especially in North Carolina here. So there's a lot of knowledge that kind of facilitates a seamless knowledge exchange and partnerships. So that can accelerate the pace of discovery for new novel therapies.
And you guys are situated in the RTP, which is literally like a triangle amongst universities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So that we've got, you're going to test me now. I've got NC State, North Carolina, State University, University of North Carolina, and Duke, and they're all situated in kind of a triangle position. And then there's just a hub of biotech within that triangle. And then now it's just filtering out and kind of dispersing through the whole state and different counties locally. So yeah, it's just growing bigger and bigger by the day.
So staffing for CAPEX projects, I know that's something that you guys, Quanta, specialise in.
Yeah.
So what unique challenges have you come across in your role of staffing for CAPEX projects in the life science industry?
Main challenges, the couple I'd say. So one is capital projects within the life science industry require very highly specialized skills. So finding those individuals, professionals with that right experience can be challenging, especially for niche areas. So that would definitely be one. Would also say that the life science industry is very heavily regulated. So these capital projects have to adhere to those strict, regulatory guidelines. So again, it's crucial that we also have a knowledge and understanding of the regulatory compliance, and an understanding of the industry regulations, so we're able to qualify those candidates and make sure they have that relevant and right experience. I then also say the projects are very complex. There's very intricate processes, there's advanced technologies and multidisciplinary teams. So we need to identify candidates that not only have these technical skills, but also have the ability to work in these complex, highly regulated environments.
Sounds too complicated for me.
It could be a challenge, but I like a challenge. It's fun.
So what would you say are some of the best practices to follow when staffing for these CAPEX projects?
So I'd say the best practices for me, and I think for Quanta, are it's crucial that we understand the project requirements, what the project scope is, the objectives, the specific skill sets they're going to need, collaborating closely with the project managers for the project and also stakeholders to make sure we're really understanding the requirements. I think another one is making sure that we're developing a clear job description. So working with the team to define a job description is going to help us attract candidates who are going to accurately match the project need, but also helps us sell the project, because you can read out a list of requirements, but we need to be able to understand what that project is so we can actually sell that to the candidate and convince them to take on this project, because a lot of the best candidates are already in a job, already in a project, so they're not actively looking. So it's our job to convince them that they should be coming on and working on this project and leaving their current one.
You've got to be good at selling it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important as well that we understand the project timelines. So we're making sure that we can evaluate the availability of the candidates and how that's going to line up with the project timeline and when they're going to need new people, because these capital projects have strict deadlines. So we need to make sure that we're hiring people as quick as possible so that they're not causing any delay to the project schedule. I think also it goes without saying that communication is a very essential part of staffing capital projects. Kind of having that open and transparent communication between us, the project managers, the contractors that we hire, it means that everyone's going to be on the same page with project goals, expectations, and the progress, essentially.
And that, I guess, is a lot easier once you've built an actual partnership with a client.
Exactly.
Opposed to it just being like a merely like transactional relationship. It's better to have that relationship with them.
100%. Yeah, that's the last thing we want to be is a CV sending service. That we are developing a partnership with the clients that we're working with, really developing a relationship with them. And that's why being here in the US now has helped so much, because it's so much easier to develop a relationship with people when you meet them face to face. So I think it's made such a difference to all of us being here, being able to see our clients and develop that relationship and partnership further so we can better support these projects.
Yeah, totally.
Because teams can sometimes, when you're seeing someone on Teams, it can sometimes be transactional, especially if there's multiple people on a call. You kind of just get onto the call for the objective that you've had this meeting, and then you jump off, because it's hard to have a bit of banter over Teams if there's multiple people on it, because so it can be a bit difficult.
Definitely. And as we're all aware, so technology is obviously developing and moving quite rapidly. How can life sciences companies leverage technology to improve the staffing process?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. And it's something that I need to research more, because it's something that's cropped up from a few clients that they're looking to use AI to kind of develop their products from their perspective. So it's kind of wondering how we can, those companies then can leverage technology to improve staffing. I guess the basic one is going to be, using social media. I think there is such a large presence now on platforms like LinkedIn. You can get such a further reach utilizing those platforms and being, present on those platforms. But of course, there's going to be other things like data analytics or AI. And I think another one that would be really cool is utilizing AR or VR to show project kind of, you always see images when a company releases that they're doing a project. You'll see like an image of what it's going to look like. But it'd be really cool if you could create an a VR kind of version of it, and you can immerse yourself in what that project's going to look like and how it's going to develop over the next X amount of years. I feel like you'll be able to buy into it more and feel a bit more passionate about the project, and that's going to make it easier to sell for us. So, put this headset on and look what you could be involved in, type thing. I think that'd be quite cool.
That would be really cool. I think it's, like you said, you need to do more research on it. And I think it's because it's crept up on, like, it feels like things have been progressing for ages. And then recently it's like technology's like ramped up like really fast. Like all of a sudden it's like AI, like I was like, that's not gonna be a thing. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, it is a thing. I mean, like it was so fast.
Yeah, it's incredible what you can do with AI, and I think we've only just scratched the surface. So, and also I think we all need to understand more what it can do, so we can actually it can improve our day-to-day lives, but also our professional lives as well.
Yeah, without making it too scary. I think there just needs to be some like regulations around it.
100%.
It's it'll be good. I think it's like harnessing it and not letting robots take over. So in your experience, what are some of the most common mistakes that companies make when staffing for projects?
Most common mistakes. I think there's, probably a good few areas depending on the project. But I think insufficient planning is a huge one, or the lack of a clear project scope is going to also be a huge impact. For us, yes, a pain is when companies rely just on cost. There's that cycle, isn't it? It's cost, time, quality. So it's just like there's always going to be kind of a way up of what's the priority. But what we'll find is sometimes companies will push so hard on cost, so they'll get a less qualified resource in, and then the project suffers because of that. So I know that you have to stick within budget, and at times you'll have to make that sacrifice. But when you solely rely on cost, it can impact the project massively. And simple things, I say it again, like the importance of communication, both with communication between us and the project or the life sciences company, and then also communication with the contractors that they have on site. That's so important that they communicate well. Failing to have enough resource is another one, thinking that they can run a real lean team, but a lot of the time it just leads to burnout. So then they even have a worse resource problem than they did to start with. And I think it's important also for these projects to look at, if they do capital projects all the time, so it's making sure that they're looking at their past experience and evaluating what went well and what went wrong, and not just repeating the same mistakes again. And I think that's sometimes neglected, and I think it would be a great way to improve their next capital project if they did more of that. And then feedback is always going to be a bugbear of mine. It's so important for us as a staffing company for the life science industry that we are able to give our candidates the best experience if possible. So, and a lot of the time, we're unable to give proper feedback because either we won't hear back from companies or we'll just get a no. And that makes it hard for these candidates to actually learn and develop their skill sets or recognize what they're missing, so that they can then go on and improve themselves. So the more feedback we can get, the better, because it not only helps us develop our relationship with the candidates, but it does mean that we're developing a better understanding of the client's needs, so we can improve our search as well.
It's like crucial for both parties, really.
100%, yeah. And I don't think enough companies realize that.
So building long-term partnerships. So I know at Quanta, that's what we're big on, forming long-lasting partnerships with the clients, and you yourself have formed great partnerships in the industry.
Definitely.
But what would you say life sciences companies should do to build long-term partnerships with staffing agencies, and I guess vice versa?
To be able to build those long-term partnerships, it goes both ways. 100% is you have to both invest in having that open communication, you have that mutual respect for each other, and you collaborate with problem solving, whether that's for resource or struggles they're having, because we have 30 years experience within the life science industry resourcing capital projects. So we have the experience, we have the knowledge, and sometimes companies don't realize how much they can utilize us. And when they do realize it, and we have that mutual respect, that trust, and they come to us to collaborate with problems they're having with resource, then it creates such a better partnership. And I think that long-term partnerships are built on trust, reliability, and a shared commitment to success. So I'd say those are the key things. I will always bang on about communication, but collaboration, mutual respect, I think also come with it.
What a perfect answer, Annabel.
I'm passionate about it.
And what have you found to be the key benefits for your clients when you've built these long-term partnerships?
Yeah, so I think when we have companies that have developed long-term partnerships with us, they benefit from us knowing their business inside and out, understanding their capital projects in detail, knowing what types of candidates that they like, not just from a skills perspective, but also cultural fit, team fit. There might be certain companies that they like candidates from, and we know that. So again, they can trust that when they ask us to provide resource, they know they're going to get highly qualified candidates, they're going to meet the cultural fit, and we're going to be able to find them fast because we know exactly what we're looking for. So it's that consistent quality, the faster recruitment process, cost saving. They're not having to work with multiple agencies. They can focus on kind of working with us exclusively. We can provide those candidates, and because there's that partnership, there's that trust there, we can always do negotiation, and that means that we can support them and drive down costs if needed. So I think that always helps capital projects when they're in a tight pinch when it comes to budget. And these partnerships are mutually beneficial, both to the company we're working with and also, of course, to us. And I think it always leads to a successful project outcome when we do these long-term partnerships.
So finally, what advice would you give to a life sciences company and staffing agencies on how to build these partnerships?
Just use Quanta. That's it. That is the answer to all your problems. Just use us. No, I think other than the secret of using us, it's going to be focus on shared goals. So, we want to be able to provide candidates with incredible project opportunities. You want to, resource your capital project, get it in schedule, in cost. So having that shared focus or shared goal, is a key driver. And then the open communication, mutual respect, that you both value what each other are doing, I think is really important to kind of force a successful long-term partnership.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
No problem. Been lovely to catch up with you and share that information.
Thanks for listening to Quanta Talks. If you would like to get involved in future episodes, please see the email address in the show notes. Thanks for listening.